it's Andrea at A Work of Heart Studio, and we're going to do another video today showing you how to make textured metal tape to go around the outside of your paper mache letter. So we're using today aluminum tape that you get at the hardware store. We're using alcohol ink. The colors that I'm choosing today are denim and willow. We're going to use an applicator tool with a felt pad. We are going to use a Cuttlebug and a texture plate with the texture embossing folder with plates A, B, and B. So the first thing we want to do is we want to measure our tape to go along the edge. I could do a piece that goes all the way around the outside. It's just a little unwieldy, and so I'm just going to measure my pieces so that they fit one edge at a time. You could do this also in short little pieces, but I'm just going to do one edge at a time. Trim it. I'm trimming it just a little bit larger so that it wraps around the edge. And then I want to texture this. So I want to put it in my texture plate. Now, if I want to do a continuous texture on here, I can alter my texture plate a little bit so that I can continue to slide my piece through. And to do that, I need an X-Acto knife. And I want to cut a slit on the inside edge, just so that my piece can fit through here. There we go. Well, that cut all the way off, but it'll be good. So here's what I want to do. I want to apply my texture. Now, when I'm looking at the texture plate, I see that there's a positive and a negative. I need to decide, what do I want? Do I want my texture to be raised on the surface or embossed, or do I want it to be sunken in on the surface or debossed? If I want my texture to be raised on the surface, I want the raised part to go on the back side of my metal. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to place my metal tape in there. I'm going to put it between two of these clear plates and on top of this white plate. Then my Cuttlebug machine is going to roll it through there easy as can be, one time through. And then I want to advance my metal to make kind of a continuous texture. And roll this sandwich back on through the machine. And this machine works going both directions. You can go right to left, left to right. Easy as can be. And a little bit more. I don't want to texture over top of what I've already textured, so I pull it all the way through and roll it back through. And now I have a piece of metal that's textured all the way along the edge. And we're done with that for now. So what we want to do now is we want to apply the alcohol ink to the surface of the metal. And to do that, we're going to take our applicator tool. We're going to take the alcohol ink. Now the important thing about this is, think of this as liquid Sharpie. It's a solvent-based ink. What I want to do is I want to apply the tip of my bottle to the applicator, turn it over, squeeze out a little bit, turn it back over, and recap it. Believe me, you want to make sure that the caps are on this because they tip over, they spill all over the place, and it's a mess. Same thing with my second color. Apply the tip, turn it over, squeeze a little bit out, recap it. Now I've got two colors on here, and I also want to point out that I'm working on freezer paper. This is a non-porous surface, and so that'll keep my area clean as well. You could work on craft mat. Freezer paper is what I prefer. So here's what I'm doing is I'm just kind of dabbing and turning, and that's making these two colors blend together nicely. Now it's not as dark as I thought it would be, so I'm going to grab another color. I'm going to go with sailboat blue and add that into the mix. And I can add that right on top of what I've already got going on. So these colors blend kind of like watercolors do. There we go. There's some brighter color in there. So I'm going to keep dabbing and turning until I get the entire, and you can go back over the areas that you've already gone over until I get the entire area covered up with the color. Okay, that's about right. And it takes just a little while for it to dry. It dries really quickly. It's solvent or an alcohol-based ink. If I want to make it a little bit darker, I can go back over it and keep dabbing. And that looks good. All right, so I'm going to set the alcohol inks aside. The next thing that I want to do is now I want to sand these high points with a sanding block. And that's just going to really emphasize the texture that I have on there. It's going to take those high points back down to the silver, and all the low points are going to stay the color that I just applied with the alcohol inks. So I'm just gently sanding the surface to get all those high points back down to silver. The great thing about this aluminum tape is you can cover lots of different things with it. And it looks like you've spent a lot of money on textured metal, but it's just aluminum tape. It's pretty inexpensive. All right, so it just peels off the back. Before I do that, I want to take a baby wipe, just because when I sand something, all those little particles get down in there and it makes it a little bit dull. So I'm just going to wipe over it gently. This shouldn't be wiping off any of the alcohol ink. It's just wiping off the sanded parts. So that's just making it nice and bright. And now I want to just peel and stick it to the surface. Notice how it's a little bit wider? That's fine. The aluminum tape folds over beautifully as well. You're just going to peel and stick. And when you finish folding it over the edge, this is what you have. An embossed metal edge to your paper mache letter that I think finishes it off beautifully. Thanks for watching, and join me next time.